So here we are with Ram, who's been leading our interesting response in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. And now, Ram, in Humanitarian Division, people are very interested in our response in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, because they're wondering what the thinking is behind our slightly more direct Christian aid approach, which is slightly novel for us, where we're moving beyond our traditional old approaches of working mainly through partner organisations. So do you want to tell us where's the thinking that led to that?
So Bangladesh as a country has been through various disasters in the past. So the humanitarian crisis, especially the natural disaster, is not new for Bangladesh. But the crisis that we're talking about is the refugee crisis, which has been to the scale in Bangladesh for the first time. With 1.2 million people coming into country which is not prepared, one, financially, because as a country does not have enough resources, but also with the human resources who can deal with this crisis is limited. Government level, UN level, and also the NGOs level. That has actually put a lot of additional pressure on local NGOs. In addition to that, there was restrictions by government who will be allowed to work and who will not be allowed to work. So there is a very limited approval for people to work, even for local NGOs and international NGOs. Those who are working are overwhelmed with the capacities that they're stretched with. So when we had gone into this response, we realized that some of our traditional and very established partner was so overstressed that they said they cannot work with us. Mukti, which is one of our partners, actually told us that they cannot partner because they were already overstretched with capacities and they were not willing to go for it. And also there was issues about permanent camps which were coming up, and there was very little understanding about local NGOs how to manage camps, even for Christian Aid. But obviously with international experience, we were in a position to take on responsibility for camp and also establish ourselves of doing things bit different from the other established camp management agencies. So we know of the other agencies who are well established on doing it. But if you look at our camp management has been taken as a model site management work. But IOM, which is the agency which is helping us, our operational model is much more working with the community structures, working with the Manjis, working with the CDCs and BDCs, which is the block development committees and camp development committees. So that's a very different approach to the others, which means that we have still kept people at the center of our work. And we are looking at a transition where soon we should be having more of responsibilities to the CDCs and BDCs, and our role will be more of facilitative role. So we'll still be partnering, we'll still be working with local community structures and agencies that Paul talked about at community level we should be working on. I think we need to realize that the different contexts are different and we are in a different crisis in Bangladesh. We need to be very proactive in looking at what are the best ways that we can help community. If we are going to be accountable to the affected population, I think we need to look at what are their aspirations and needs. And may not be very certain that our old approach, which is still valid, and we are still working with 5 partners in Cox's Bazar, but may not be that we can meet all the obligations and needs that are required to be done. So I think it was a very conscious decision for our end. It wasn't that maybe a couple of us who have decided, it's been decided by the management, and I think everybody was taken on board why we are doing camp management and not really giving it to partner. One, obviously, a partner will not get that access to IOM for doing this work. So we as Kshan has been able to open up door for our partners to work in there and also for communities to be engaged in the management cycle of it.
So Madara, who's the head of humanitarian programs in Asia and in the Middle East as well. Wow, you've got a very busy job, Madara. Would you like to tell us what you feel staff need to know about this response?
I think it's a complex program, like Ram said, but rest assured that we are putting our DNA, that's inclusion, protection, accountability to affected population, evidence-based programming, that is at the center of what we're doing. And site management, it was a new area for us. We have gotten feedback from our donors, IOM, and other key stakeholders to say that our camp does look different. It's because we are ensuring that these things are at the heart of what we do. Site management is a huge responsibility. We're coordinating with the government, the military, 36 partners, INGOs and local agencies that are working, providing health, education, water sanitation, shelter. We're doing coordinating of that. So it's a huge service. These are 50,000 plus people living in these camps. We're working with the community, we're working with a whole bunch of stakeholders to make sure that we're preparing for the monsoons and the cyclones. So Christian Aid is highly visible. We are living up to our name. We're being bold and courageous and trying different things. It was a risky strategy doing site management, but based on what we're seeing, hearing, and the feedback, we made the right decision.
I think just to add to this, I think I was talking to our colleagues just before coming to this discussion. There's a strong thunderstorm and rain happening in Cox's Bazar where people have been affected. We are fearing that there will be a lot of people who will be affected with this rain, losing their houses. The speed that is required to reach out to them with support, I think that KrishNet will really add value in doing that with our partnership with IOM, where tomorrow morning people should have a shelter ready for them to be living in.
Morris, anything you'd like to add about the situation in Bangladesh?
Not in Bangladesh. I will add something on Nigeria, which I think is also something that is good for our staff and our supporters to know, is that in Nigeria we also have partners that are also responding as we are also doing the direct implementation. We have at least 4 partners that are also doing a direct response, and we are using this opportunity to build their capacity such that over time they are the ones who are going to even do the full response in the whole of the northeast of Nigeria, especially as it transitions into recovery and other resilience. And that is something that is very, very important. So as we are doing the direct implementation, they are also learning. We are also building their capacity as they are also doing the other parts of the response. So that is something also quite important.
Mandara, any final thoughts for our staff about these challenging issues?
Just that, as Morris said, this is a temporary situation where while we're doing the direct implementation, we are simultaneously building capacity. So in Bangladesh, we're planning on working with the Humanitarian Leadership Academy to actually do a robust capacity building with our local partners. We've got fantastic partners, they're doing fantastic work, but site management is a new area for them. With what we've done in Bangladesh, we managed to influence IOM about localization, and being at the table, being part of what's going on, we're able to influence the larger system.
And last, even if we take the case of Nigeria, you find that other donors are now also seeing the importance of localization and doing parallel processes. I'll give the example of ECHO, for example. ECHO have given us funding, we have done direct implementation, but at the same time, we have a pilot program, very innovative, on localization, which is also being implemented in Nigeria. And this is really helping us also to see how do we build the local capacity using this back donor funding from ECHO to ensure that the capacity of local partners is there in future to respond to these kinds of emergencies.
Okay, thanks very much, Mandara, Morris and Ram, for your time today.